I realized there were more and more people who were being diagnosed or should be diagnosed with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. I noticed the behaviors, I noticed that they had impulse control problems. I also realized the behavior problems. And a lot of these people did not have the facial features that a full-blown fetal alcohol syndrome patient will have, but they had the behavior problems, and they also had the brain damage. And in a lot of these cases, I worked with many of these experts that published in the journal, and our goal was to be able to bring public awareness and public perception from judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, and mental health professionals about why fetal alcohol spectrum disorder is such an important topic in the criminal justice system. A case that I worked on in Los Angeles, the client was charged with armed robbery, and he had a prior, what's called a strike as a child. He admitted to a prior armed robbery as a child. And when I got the case, one of the things that I realized in his birth records was he was prenatally exposed to cocaine. So with that case, I immediately thought about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, thinking that maybe the mom also drank during the time of pregnancy if she was also ingesting cocaine. So I had a neurologist in Los Angeles evaluate the client. He said, you know, the client was prenatally exposed to cocaine. So I then immediately thought, you know, let's try to find mom. Let's try to find the birth mother. Well, the birth mother was on the streets, and she was a prostitute. We tracked her down. We talked to her. At first, she was in complete denial of drinking, and it took us about 4 or 5 meetings with her until she finally realized that what we were trying to do was trying to help her son. So she admitted, she says, you know, when I wasn't getting high on the cocaine, I didn't have money for cocaine, I would drink alcohol, and I would drink tequila. And she admitted to drinking during the entire pregnancy. Well, we ended up getting experts appointed, and we got the fetal alcohol spectrum disorder diagnosis. And one of the things was, when I went back and told the client, you know what, you have behavior problems, and you have brain damage, and you have problems with ADHD and impulsivity and hyperactivity because your mom drank during pregnancy. And he said to me, he said, you know, Billy, I always knew there was something wrong with me because the kids would make fun of me, but I just didn't really know what it was, and now I know. Many people, or most people with fetal alcohol syndrome spectrum disorder, don't understand cause and effect. So they don't understand the consequences of their behavior. They don't learn from their mistakes in the past, and they keep committing crimes that other people may not do. They commit a crime, and then they do it again because they're not able to rational and realize because of the brain damage that they have. They also don't understand why that when they get interviewed by the police that they often have a right to not speak to them. But just like people with intellectual disabilities, people with fetal alcohol syndrome spectrum disorder also want to please authoritative figures. They're very gullible, and they will often confess to crimes that they didn't commit because they want to please the police officer. They're told that police officers are our friends. So people with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder will often talk to police and make confessions, even to crimes they did not commit.